Hi, I'm Tinny from Mini Bull Design, and today I'm standing out in the front yard. It's, as you can see, overcast, yucky day, raining a little bit now and then, no wind, cool, probably in the mid-40s. Was out this morning and made 3 QMH pots. And a bunch of lids. They were custom pots. They wanted a QMH pot that was tall enough, or short enough, depending on how you look at it. Taller than a regular QMH, but short enough to fit inside with 12 centimeter with a lid on without hitting. So I did that for 3 of them, and Beth just shipped those. And I had another order for some Imusa pots too. So let's real quick go in here in the old bicycle shop. And I'll show you what I'm up to, which doesn't amount to anything, but it's fun. Okay, yesterday on the metal pile, Sue or Beth, I think Beth, found a Ryobi cordless drill and the battery, just sitting there. It looked real good, so what the heck, take it home and play with it. Now, what I've discovered is probably over 90% of the time, what happens is the drill is not the battery's not lasting very long. They put it in the drill and only runs for a couple minutes. You know, push like 3 or 4 screws in, the battery's dead. So put it back on the charger, put it in. No. So what they do is they go buy a new battery and they put that in and charge it, put it in, and basically does the same thing. She's not happy with it. So they toss the whole thing on the dump. Battery's still right in the drill, charger, everything. Okay, here's what I've found. 90% of the time, the problem is that the charger, over time, charges the battery less and less and less. And you can put it in and charge it up, and it'll say it's charged. You put it in, it's only got like a 10% charge. It doesn't last very long. It'll do the same thing with a new battery. And you eventually just throw it away and go buy a new one. I think the manufacturer builds the chargers that way on purpose, especially with these cheap drills. Black & Decker charger did the same thing, and I had a hot fire or a hot shot or something. It did the same thing. The DeWalt charger, it was a quality charger, and I've never had any problem with it. And it seemed to charge the batteries right off quick. So anyway, long story short, let me flip the camera. I took this battery, which is only 7.2 volts, an old one, and I checked it, and it was really, really low. Here's the drill. So I had this power supply that goes up to 12.5 volts DC or AC, which, by the way, I found on the dump, just thrown in a pile. You can see where they threw it off. You can see where they threw it off the truck and chipped the corner out of the case. But anyway, it works. You can hear it humming. See the lights on. I've checked it with a meter. It's putting out power, and I'm charging. I found the negative and positive on this, and charged it up. So I guess the acid test is to put this back in the drill and see if everything works. I got a screw I've got to drive in the factory to hang up a clipboard. So let's take this in and see what we got. Okay, let's see. That's right where I want that. Maybe back it out just a little bit. There we go. Now this had only been charged for a few minutes, so it's a long ways from being fully charged. But that's what I want to accomplish right there. And I'm relatively certain that if I leave this on the charger for a couple hours, that I will have yet another cordless electric drill, which you can see I've already got more than enough of. And these all suffered from the same problem. So there you have it. Now let's talk about ISO stuff. Okay, I came out this morning and did some more basic experimentation, made some custom parts, this and that. And here's what I learned. Whatever I learned, you'll learn. Okay, here's what's happening with this one, with this top. It took me a little while, but after I burned it for like a half an hour, I noticed that the base was filling up. It's like, well, why is that filling up? Well, and it was filling up with a yellow liquid. Turns out that what's happening is the 70% ISO, or 30% water, alcohol, is coming up into the wick, and the isopropyl is burning off. And it's evidently mixing somewhat with the water, and some of the water is coming off with it. But a lot of the water is migrating back down to the wick right here, and then running over the edge and running down and running into the base. And every now and then you'll get quite a bit of water built up on this bottom edge of this wick, and it'll start doing one of these numbers and pulsing and flickering, and you add some extra fuel and it'll kind of flush it out, and you'll go for a while. And you know, I tried making a top that would vent this away, and the water, it isn't on just the edge of the wick, it's right into the center of the wick, so that doesn't work. And I tried, you know, this, and I tried that, and I tried it in an SS1. And bottom line was, although you could do it, if you were out on the trail and all you could get was rubbing alcohol, and you wanted to goof around, you put your pot stand down a little bit lower and keep feeding the stove, you could cook your meal, you could get by just fine. And as you did it, you'd probably learn a lot of things that I don't know. And you could get by without even setting up your pot. But it's fudgy. I don't like fudgy things. My entire life I've dealt with fudgy things, including 30 years of working on Osram Sylvania equipment that was not right, was designed back in 1935, was doing 100 times better than it was ever designed to do, doing things that were, at the time it was made, thought impossible. And I was required to perform the magic. Yeah, the magic that took me 4 years to learn, or 5, to make these pieces of junk run. They didn't even have any bearings in them. They're right metal to metal. You just oiled them every day, like some of them old locomotives. Yeah, I mean, they had main bearings, but all the small stuff was just metal to metal. Anyway, they were junk. I worked on them for 30 years. I don't like that kind of technology. And if I was going to build a stove that was going to work the same as a T5 weld machine, I don't think so. You know, lights on, lights off. It's down. No, I want it to work right. And bottom line is, with rubbing alcohol, like those machines, it will work, and you could do okay with it. You do fine. Heat your dinner with it and everything, but you'd have to keep fudging around with it. And every time you fudge with it, you'd say, yeah, that tinny idiot. Yeah, that. So anyway, here's my spin on it after experimenting with it quite a while. You can take this stuff and add just 15%, I'm going to say 20% methanol. And that will go into the water in this and mix with the water, and it works fine. It works more or less like regular pure methanol, which is actually quite a bit better than it need be. I don't think you need to burn 90% pure methanol. I think if it was 80 or 70% methanol, you'd probably be better than this ISO stuff. But anyway, if you take a 16-ounce bottle of 70% rubbing alcohol and you dump in 4 ounces of methanol or ethanol, whatever, you got a pretty good fuel, and it will really, really extend your fuel. If you come into town and you've only got 4 ounces left in your heat bottle, and you can go to a drugstore and buy a 16-ounce bottle of methanol, dump out 4 ounces, dump in your heat, shake it up, and you're okay. Burns good. Burns pretty darn good. If I could find any fault with it, it's a little thick, doesn't flow through the line as well as pure methanol, but it would work. So that's where I am right now. I'm going to keep fudging around with it, and if I have some major breakthrough, fine. I'm going to keep goofing around here. If I come up with an ISO stove that works the way it's supposed to, which I won't, but I'll keep trying, then I will sell it. In the meantime, if you get in a pinch and you're out on the trail, you can buy some ISO and dump it in with your heat or denatured alcohol or whatever, and it'll extend your fuel a lot. Just don't put in more than 75%, and that's a lot. Leave 25% methanol. If you don't, you're going to be in trouble. So that's what I've learned, and I think that was a fair amount of information for one video. I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design. Try to have a really great day, and try to have some fun today. You deserve it. Bye-bye.